Hey guys, so today, I know I said my first stream was going to be on April the 20th, but I've decided that today I'm working on my own game for a little bit. I was a bit bored this afternoon, so just trying to find something to do. And so I figured I'd just live stream it and see what people are thinking, see if I can get some input off you guys as I go about doing this, and how you might do it. So, here we are. So I'm going to turn that music down, it's a little bit distracting. Sorry, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to make a zombie game. I've been playing Call of Duty Zombies a lot recently. So I'm going to try and make a zombie game. And then what I'm trying to do is, instead of what I find happens to me is I spend a lot of time looking at making the level look fancy and, oh, it can do this and it can do that and this could be a trap. And I never really spend much time on the zombie mechanics. So what I'm trying to do is build a modular zombie mechanic system that I can just drop into any map and it'll just work as zombies. So all I've done so far, I've only been at this about an hour or two. I have this zombie which will run up to you and attack you, and it will change its mesh randomly, so hopefully. So yeah, you see there's this other one. These are the two free Mixamo things, the two most zombie-like things that were free in the Mixamo pack. Let me just go show you that. The Mixamo Anim starter pack here. So I chose to use Mortimer. Here he is. Where are you going, mate? There you go. So I chose to use this guy, quite spooky looking, and I also opted to use Jill. That's the other one that I thought would work for this theme. So the full blueprint, viewport, and there's Jill, another zombie looking chick. So I have a spawner that's going to spawn the zombies, and I have this zombie manager thing that I'm going to drop in the world, and that is going to basically manage spawning the zombies. So it's gonna handle things like that zombie spawner will check how many zombies are currently in the level, because I don't want to put hundreds of things. Yeah, people make zombie games because zombie AI is pretty easy. The AI is pretty easy, but what I wanted to make was the whole system. So the spawning, the rounds, it is easy to make, but it's good fun. I mean, you take a look at the statistics for Call of Duty Zombies. I mean, it's one of those games that's just never really going to go away. There's a lot of people who enjoy that, and I'm one of them. I enjoy that. But yeah, you're right. The zombie AI is pretty easy. I mean, the AI effectively is already there. I mean, it walks to you and it'll slap you, and that's about as much as it really needs to do. So my spawner, I have zombies in the world, zombies per round, maximum zombies on the level. So I mean, if we only allow a maximum of 10, I need a way to when a zombie is spawned, to tell the zombie manager that it's alive. So I will get inside my zombie manager. I'm going to have a custom event, new zombie. So that's going to register the new zombie. So he's going to increment this. So set that to its current value +1. Actually, I can do that a bit better. I can select you and I can increment. We'll just plug that into there. Ugh, come on. There we go. Okay, so you're basically going to, so there's a zombie. You're going to increase that guy, and we're going to have another custom event, and that's going to be dead zombie. So this allows us to keep our map populated but not too populated, because if you get to a high round and there's supposed to be like 300 zombies or something, you don't really want all 3 of them on there at the same time, because it's just going to make the system slower. You can have it can feel overwhelming if there are 30, 40 zombies perhaps, but more are spawning constantly, but there's actually only 30 or 40 on the map. They just come in quickly. So dead zombie and new zombie. So what's going to happen with my spawner is you're going to spawn this guy. So your basic zombie here, when you call spawn setup, that's going to need to get a reference to the Z manager. So every zombie has a reference to the zombie manager built into them, and you're going to call new zombie when you do that. So off here, new zombie. That's just going to inform the manager that, yep, I've been spawned, I've had my values set, and I'm going to go off and go about my business now. But by incrementing it in the zombie manager can then deal with, okay, so maybe there's too many zombies in them. Yeah, you get the idea of the system. Spawn a zombie. Let's see. You're going to need to check that the zombies in world is less than the max zombies. Integer is less than. So zombies in world is less than max zombies on level. And if it is, then we can go ahead and proceed to do some kind of spawn. So from your spawners, we can get this, and I sort of want to iterate through the various spawners and check which ones are active. See, the spawners have this active flag on them, and my intention, in fact I'll do this now, is to add a sphere collision to it, a pretty big one. Let's go take a look at that in the world. And the idea behind this is if the player is within this particular spawner's radius, then it will spawn on that pad. If it's in a different one, so these will become active and inactive. The idea behind that is if I have 100 spawners across quite a large map, it's not going to feel great if the zombies are spawning at the far end of the map. I want them to be around me. And so that's what this is going to do. This flag here is going to make that active and deactive. So we'll set that to 2,000 units. That feels pretty good. So if I had a spawner in each corner of the map, then if I was stood in that particular corner, that's the spawner that would be used. If I was stood in the middle, the goal is to have the system. So if I'm stood, whereabouts? This part here. There we go. Oops, that's the floor. Let's not move that around. If I'm stood about here, that seems to be in the radius of all of them. And so what that'll do then is it should randomly select one of these spawners to spawn at, because I'm of equal distance to any of them really. So my spawners, that's cool. Where was I working? So my zombie manager needed to do a for each loop on these. And what it needed to do was get the active ones. So my spawner does have an active flag. Let's make that public and see if we can now get it from here. And we need to cast it. So cast to spawner, and I can make that non-private now. That'll work because these are of type spawners. So we can go active. And if the active is true, we're going to want to... so for each of these, once it's completed... So let's put these into an array, another array. So let's delete that. Let's just duplicate this guy and rename this as active spawners. So this array here will change... messages there. Close that. So this array will change during runtime. So my active spawners will always be. So if the game calls to spawn a zombie, it will recalculate which ones are the active ones and then spawn them. So what I want to do is get that, and the first thing I want to do before I go into this for each loop would be to take the active spawners and wipe the array. So it's a nice empty array, then I can go and get the active ones. The problem is I need to make sure there's always an active spawner, and if there's not an active spawner, I should really just pick a random one. So if the player stood in some corner of the map that magically isn't within the radius of one of these spawners, I need to just pick a spawner and spawn the zombie. So can we clear that? We can. That's awesome. Look at that function there. Clear. So we'll clear the active spawners, and then on the for each loop, if they're active, we're going to go ahead and add something to it, and we're going to add this guy. Let's make it nice and neat. Reroute node, another reroute node, and down to here. Cool. So what we have there is clearing the active spawners, setting the active spawners. So once you've completed this, if there's more than one active spawner, it doesn't really matter. You're just gonna pick a random one. So, but we need to do that check. So we need to branch and check that the length of this is more than 0. Because if it's not, we're going to need to spawn from a different pool of spawners. So if it's more than 0, then you're going to want to get a random one of these. So get a copy, and we're going to make a random. So you want to do your length, -1. And plug that into a random integer in range, with that as the max and that as the min, and use that to feed our get here. And from that, you're going to cast to spawner and call spawn zombie. Okay, it's looking a bit messy, but that's fine for now. So this spawn zombie function takes in the health that the zombie should spawn with, and the idea behind this is that the zombies will spawn with more health or maybe move faster later on. So these will be changeable via some more variables, but we'll get round to that later. I'll set a default value in there for now, just to make sure everything works. Same function really here, but not with active spawners. I want to get the list of all the spawners, get a copy, and cast a spawner off it. And then I want to, again, call spawn zombie. Actually, I can... No, it's not going to do that. But I can plug those into the same thing. Okay, that cleans that up a bit. The length of you is going to need to be gotten as well. So we can go length, and again, -1. And plug that into our get. Okay. The reason I do the length -1 is if an array has 5 things in it, its length is 5, yet the 5th element is number 4. That's because array indexes start at 0, so you would have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's still 5. So when you get the length, it will say it's 5 because there's 5 things in there, but you need to take away 1 if you're going to get the max. Because if you call 5, it's obviously not an element in the array and it won't do anything. So that's why the -1 is there. So we're going to cast it out to a spawning. We're going to spawn a zombie. Cool. Let me move all of this stuff away. So that looks like our spawning logic. Selecting the correct spawner. Looping through correct. Let's just walk through this. So if the zombies in the world is less than the maximum zombies on level, which is 10, then you're going to clear the active spawners. For all of the spawners, you're going to cast to them and check whether they're active. If they are, you're going to add them to the active spawner array. Then once you've completed that loop, you're going to check if active spawners length is more than 0. So if there's at least one element in there. Yeah, if there's at least one element in there. And if there is, then you're going to cast to the spawner, get one of these, and spawn a zombie. And if not, you're going to grab a random spawner and spawn something. But nothing calls this. Nothing calls this. So I need some figuring out the timings for how often these zombies should spawn. It's going to be a difficult one. Coffee. I read a quote once. Not coffee. Programmers are machines who turn coffee into code, and I quite like that. So let's take a look at what we got going on. So that's our spawner. Our basic zombie is here with the array of things. So we can close out the basic zombie. It's the zombie manager. The spawner's basically set up. That's quite simple. It just spawns an actor. So we can close spawner. My zombie manager now. So I could have my level blueprint deal with the number of zombies. I just need to have a think about this one. So new zombie and dead zombie. New zombie is called where? What is calling new zombie at the minute? And let's just delete some of these spawners. Too ugly. My spawners, where are they at? Let me just go check something in there. my spawners, event begin overlap. If it is the first person character, then you're going to set active to true. So let's just give that a test. I'm going to go outside of its radius. And I'm just watching on my other screen, and it doesn't look like that's working. So for some reason, it doesn't register this as being a thing. So what I'm actually just going to do is cast it to the first person character. This cast will basically work as an if statement for me. So I shouldn't need that. I could just do it like this. And clear this out and do a cast to first person character. If the cast fails, it wasn't the first person character that entered or left the collision. So the cast will fail. If it is the first person character, the cast will succeed, and I can set active to true and false. So I'm gonna let's see, I'll just put that up on the other screen and see what goes on with this. So if I leave the zone, yep, active is set to false and active is set to true. That's fantastic. So our active works. Our zombie manager will check whether that, not zombie zombie manager. So this is spawn as zombie. Yeah. Spawn a zombie at the correct spawn, and that's what this bit of code does. So we need a way of figuring this out. So what I'm going to do for now is just plug it into an event tick and do a delay of, I don't know, a second, and then call spawn a zombie. So what this is basically going to do now is every second it's going to spawn a zombie at that spawner, since it's the only one, hopefully. So there's one, there's another one. Okay, so I didn't realize that these guys would just sort of do this. So they're stacking up at the spawner. So what we need to do is figure out why, when we spawn a zombie, they don't come to life. So let's go look at our basic zombie, and where we have the zombie AI basic controller. You see, on begin play for these guys, oh, begin play event when play begins for this actor. So if that actor is just spawned, then it should, so spawn one, and no, okay. So we have some errors. Let's take a look at these errors. Accessed none. Target is spawner. Why would you access none? That's strange. It might be because I don't have any. Oh wait, spawners. Yeah, spawners is set here on begin play for this guy. So I'm gonna just put a breakpoint on here, and we'll step through the code and sort of see what's going on. So just give that a second to trigger. Okay. So zombies in world is 0 and maximum zombies is 10. So we're going to step through there. We're going to clear out the active spawners thing. Lovely. And we're going to go into a for each loop with spawners, which currently has one element in it. That's right, we only have one spawner. Ooh. This is not where I wanted to be. I've lost where I was now. Spawner. No. Zombie manager. There we go. I'm toggle another breakpoint on here. Hit resume. Step over is what I want to do. So does that work? It does. It casts to the spawner. We have a spawner there. We're going to check whether they are. Oh, okay. So that would have been false. That spawner would have been false, and so it's getting any one of the random spawners, which is right there. There's passing a spawner there, and so this should be active, and then this should be calling to the basic zombie and calling the spawn setup. So the problem was that they were standing still, which makes me think that they're not being taken over properly by the controller. So, whoops. when you're spawned, your AI controller class, AI controller, oh yeah, I can set the AI controller class to be basic zombie controller. Let's give that a go. Let's see whether these zombies start doing things. Alright, let's take these breakpoints off and hit resume. And where did they go? Nope. He's still not very happy. So we set the... How puzzling. I need to move these wires because I keep dropping things. The zombies are spawning, that's fine. My question is, why aren't they coming to life? I mean, we're setting their controller. Oh, okay. So, placed in world or spawned. Yeah, it should automatically possess itself. Let's go take another look. Hey, look at that. Cool. So there we go. We've got these zombies coming at me. So hopefully it shouldn't spawn more than 10. We have, what's that, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 now. So we should have no more zombies spawning. And these guys are gonna, if we can group them up enough, I bet they start throwing each other in the air. Okay, so I don't really like the way that the back ones just stand there, but meh. It'll do for now. So at least my spawner works, you know, it puts them in the game. And they run around. I'm just going to see whether I can get rid of this. And see whether it's automatically going to do it. There we go, that's cool. So we didn't need that anyway. AI keep games alive. Yeah, AI really do keep games alive, I suppose. I mean, if you have a game with no AI, then what is it? It's just a architectural demo, right? Like, you have to have enemies with some kind of brain, you know, something that drives them. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're just walking around looking at things. Hello, Sean Becker. Hey, welcome. Let's go take another look around. So we have our zombie spawner now. We have our zombie manager. And it doesn't spawn more than 10. That's good. So when the zombie dies, because on spawning it calls to the Z manager and does that. So we need another custom event. And that's going to be death. And that's going to call to the Z manager. And dead zombie. That's what I want to call. So dead zombie in my zombie manager basically just decrements the amount of zombies in the world. So I'm actually going to up this to 15 zombies. I'm pretty good. How are you? Okay, so we have 15, maximum 15 zombies. We have them spawning. We have that setting up when it plays. Okay. This is what needs to be replaced with some kind of game mode. So I do want to do it in waves, but I'm going to need to set up a HUD that basically tells you what wave it is and how many zombies are left to kill. I need some way to manage how many zombies there are per level. I need a function to increment that based on your level. So if zombies to spawn was multiplied by the round, then that's going to get pretty intense pretty quick. It should be something like, because okay, so let's say you spawn 10 zombies in the first round, you would your zombie count multiplier would be 10 multiplied by 1. So you spawn 10 zombies in the first round. On the second round, you're going to spawn 20. On the third, it's going to be 30. On the fourth, it's going to be 40. And it's going to get pretty crazy pretty quick. I mean, by round 10, you're spawning 100 zombies. And if these things health are increasing too, it's going to get messy real quick. So maybe if I did it multiplied by the round and then divided by 2. So you have 10 zombies or 20 zombies for the first one, multiplied by 1, that's 20, divided by 2 is 10. For the second one, it's 20 divided by 20 multiplied by 2, so 40 that's 20. I'm really not good at maths. I'm not good at maths. Okay, anyway, so you're trying to learn Unreal Engine 4. Yeah, cool. It's a really cool thing to learn. It teaches you a lot of the basics of programming, so we'll cover concepts like loops that we have down here. casting out to other objects. So you'll learn a lot of object-oriented programming through Unreal, and the blueprints make it really, really easy to learn and really easy to do. So I'm going to figure out the round multiplier and all of that other nonsense a bit later on. For now, let's take a look what we got going on. Zombie manager. So my basic zombie was, if he dies, he needs to go off the map. So what we need to do is make a way for the player to die. In order for the player to die, we need the character to be able to shoot. So let's go and grab our first person character. And this spawn projectile is rubbish. We're just going to delete all of this. Okay. Action, fire, input, touch. Let's just get rid of that as well. So when you press the fire thing, I want you to do a, what's the word? Line trace. A line trace by channel. Are blueprints more laggy than code? I don't think so, because when it comes to the engine dealing with blueprints, it's basically code. I mean, you can, I'm not too sure how you do it on this, but for example, if I do a Control-C on that and go to Notepad, I wonder if this works. Yeah, if I do a Control-C on the line trace and then go to Notepad, it basically pastes the code that is behind the blueprint. The blueprint is just simply a visual front to the code. So when the game is running, it doesn't read blueprints, it reads the code behind them. So is it laggier? No, because it's probably it's reading the same code that you would write whether you wrote it in C# or whether you let the blueprint do it itself. The only difference being, in blueprints you can sort of trim the fat a bit. I mean, for example, I wouldn't consider that I need some of these like trace color, hit color, draw time. So if I were writing the line trace myself, I could sort of trim the fat on that. So are they laggier? No, not really. You're not really going to notice a difference. I personally haven't been able to see, I can't find an example of where that's not the code behind the blueprint. You need to click at the parent class link at the top of the blueprint. Okay, he might be right. My point was, sorry, but I'm going to get off topic here. The point was, it's basically code. A blueprint node is basically code. So why do people want to hate on blueprints? I don't know why people hate on blueprints. There's no particular reason. I suppose it's just preference. And yeah, if it opens it in Visual Studio, I'm not doing that, because Visual Studio is the bane of my life. I work as a C# backend developer, and I work in Visual Studio all day, so any chance I get to not look at Visual Studio, I'm not looking at it. So I forgot what I was doing here. So get actor location, and then I want to select my camera and get the rotation X factor. Alright, okay, I've sort of forgotten how I do this. No, that's not right. So what I'm going to need to do, since I've forgotten, is jump out and try find... I'm going to fire up a different example. Another project I've got running. I just go double check how I did the line trace in there. Oh. So some screaming going on outside. So I'll get rid of that for now. I know I need that node. That much is for sure. Let's see. I'm losing track now because I've got so many different things. So that's it. So we need the zombie to be able to die so that the spawner can spawn more zombies, because it's obviously going to reach the cap. And in order to do that, I needed to get the line trace by channel code out of another one of my projects. Here we go. The weapon system. You might have seen the live stream for this. So let's go ahead and grab this dude and just look at his line trace, wherever that is. That is not the line trace. What is this? Fire sequence. Main fire. There you go. This is the line trace code. So I'm just gonna grab that and paste that into here. Oops. There we go. So I'm not going to need that. I'm not going to need his multi-shot. I'm not going to need the base damage min and max. I just need to get the first person camera, get the world location, get the forward vector, multiply it by the weapon range, which we're just going to make as 10,000, just for the sake of development. So I can't believe I couldn't remember that. It's pretty simple. You get the first person camera, which is there. I'm just going to update that reference just in case copying it over causes any issues. And I'll plug that into my line trace, and we're going to debug for duration, and let's just go and make sure that that fires. It should do. Cool, so there are my shots. So it won't hit those zombies, so that's something that we need to consider now. We need to go into my zombies and change their collision. I need to check this error as well. So there's an issue in my spawner with it. Excuse me, there's an issue in my spawner with it not reading something right, so we'll have to come back to that one. Mohammed, hello, greetings to you too. So the collision, no collision, we want that to be overlap all, I think. Let's see, traces, visibility trace overlap. Okay. Not overlap all. As a pawn. No. Overlap all, block all, custom. So for a visibility trace, we're going to make that a block. For other pawns, they can overlap it. They can overlap all of this kind of stuff. But to traces, we want them to be blocks. The plugin screenshot tools, is that for logic? Huh? The plugin screenshot tools, is that for screenshot the logic? Oh, I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Let me just carry on over here. Move this out of the way. So I can close out of the project now, and let's see. So we have our line trace, and it should hit them now. And it should be, yeah, there we go. So we got the hits coming in. It's coming in a bit high. It's coming out a bit high, the line trace. So I'm gonna do a vector negative, another vector. I'm gonna take 30 off of that Z and plug that into there, plug that one into there as well. So that should hopefully knock the starting down a bit, just so it's not, I mean, it's coming in from the camera, so if my phone is my player, the camera's here, and it's spawning the line trace here, and I want it to sort of start down a bit, so I'm just going to modify that by taking the vector off there. Let's just try that again. So you see how it's coming out a bit lower from me now? So I'm just going to bump this up. Am I planning to have the zombies become more aggressive at night? And no, I don't. Sorry. Let me answer these two questions. So, Mike, that assumes I'm having a day-night cycle. What I'm doing, if you missed the start of the stream, is basically I'm just making a modular zombie system, so I can drop this into another map and have it basically deal with zombies. So have zombies spawn, have them chase the player, have them deal with the terrain. So I'm not actually looking into day-night cycles, whether they get faster or more aggressive. I'm not really doing any of that. It's a pretty basic system. And Android, if I need -30, no, because this is a vector subtraction node. If I was to take away -30, it would be the same as adding 30. So because it's a subtraction node, I can put in a positive value in here. In fact, I want to put in a positive value. If I was to use the addition node, then I would put in -30. Okay, let's just take a look at that. That's pretty cool. It comes from roughly where my gun is, if not a little bit to the right. But yeah, whatever. It means I can shoot them and I can hit them for now. So what we need to do off this is break the hit result. And if it is, we can cast that to basic zombie. So if the cast succeeds and we've hit the basic zombie, I'm just going to call death on them. So where are we at? Basic zombie. They have this death function, and then we will destroy the actor. So obviously around here, what you'd probably want to do is, I don't know, make some cool death animation or whatever, leave the ragdolls around for 10-15 seconds, but for the sake of this I'm just going to destroy the actor. So as basic zombie we'll call death, and what that should do is allow us to spawn more into the world. So before I do this, I'm going to go into my zombie manager and change the max zombies in level to be 1. So it should now only spawn 1 zombie. Awesome. And if I kill that zombie, it'll allow it to spawn another one. That's really cool. That works nicely. So I turn that up to something like 15. I can have 15 zombies in the level. And actually, let's make this a bit crazier. Let's fuck around with this. Let's make this 0.3. That's 3.0, 0.3, there we go. So it should spawn these things quite a bit faster. So how many have we got there? These are going to be pretty hard to count. 1, 2, okay, there's a few of them, but as soon as I knock them out, you see the zombie spawner starts kicking in more of them. So I now have a maximum of 15 on the map to keep the AI to keep the game running smoother. I now have a maximum of 15 zombies on the map, but what I also have is them spawning, which means it's going to feel like there's more than 15. There we go, that's pretty cool. Start the line trace from the center of the screen instead of below it, because you could be behind cover and miss. Ideally, I want to start the line trace. Actually, here's what we're going to do. We're gonna change this line trace code, because I don't really like it. You're right, it doesn't feel right. What you'll notice inside the default, let's get rid of the VR crap. VR gun, nope, nope, nope. So you notice there's actually a sphere in the end of the first person default gun. I'm going to use that as where the line trace starts. Oh, I've broken something because I deleted the VR. Let's get rid of this. I don't need that, and all of this seems to be related to... Let's just get rid of this node. I'm not going to delete more than I need to because I don't really understand what it's doing right now. So that sphere, yeah, let's grab the sphere and let's get your world location, and we're going to use the world location. Hello, that's software. What is it you want to say about my hair? So this world location here is going to be our starting. So the sphere is now going to be the start for our thing. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so you see how the line trace comes out the end of the gun now and flies forward. It goes a little too high, and I'm not sure if it's actually the crosshair that's off. We can check that in here in the first person HUD. Offset Y size to align crosshair with projectile. So that offset might be what's throwing us off. Let's just go back and... that's pretty damn close. You see how as I get closer to the... Whoa, okay. These zombies, man. As I get closer to the wall, you'll notice how it's actually definitely lower, and certainly from where the gun is and not actually where the crosshairs are. And at further distances, the crosshair gives you a pretty accurate gauge of where your shot's going to go. Cool, so we are slaying zombies. Awesome. So these errors, let's go and try and fix these errors. What is this? Accessed none. That should never access none. Because either of these should be passing at a spawner, otherwise it wouldn't be being called. So how can you access none? Puzzling. Let's have another read of the error. Spawn zombie in event graph in object. Access none while trying to read property dynamic cast as spawner. I don't really understand that. In Counter-Strike, you shoot from your character's face. Yeah. So what we were doing before is we were shooting from the face when we just had the world location of the camera, but by doing it off the gun, I don't know, it's a bit more realistic. It's where the bullets come from. You don't shoot laser beams out your eyes, so to make it come out the sphere, or from the sphere is a really good marker of where we should be starting our cast from. and our forward vector of our camera is the direction we're looking, so we want that to go straight. I wonder if you can get the forward vector of this. This is just experimentation now. I don't know what this is doing, but okay, so that's shooting off to the left, isn't it? So I wonder if we can, in the viewport, rotate the sphere ever so slightly to the right. Something like that. Let's see what that does. Ah, that's pretty cool. So that's taking a line almost straight out of where the... Ooh. There we go. Yeah, cool, that works. That works. So I just need to rotate that a touch. I may even snap it back ever so slightly. Oh, it's because I'm changing the wrong thing. So scaling over here wants to be down by 5. There we go. So let's take a look. Nope, that seems to have broken it. Sweet. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is test multiple spawners in the world. So I'm going to just drag off this guy and put one at the back. So what should happen is, if I'm on this side of the room, they're going to spawn from there. And if I'm on this side of the room, the zombies should now spawn from over here. Should. How strange. So let's push all these guys back. And then let's move over towards this side of the room. Let me just check where those spheres are. I'm going to put them in opposite corners instead to make it a bit easier. So by default, where my player starts, it should randomly select a spawner. And it seems it's chosen that one. And it should now choose this one because this one's closer and the only active one. So if I delete all of the zombies from over there, are you still spawning? How puzzling. Okay, so that might explain the errors that we're getting in here. Because there should only be one active. I mean, where I was stood was about here, right? Just above the text, which wasn't in the radius of this spawner. So let's see where I've put this thing. My zombie manager. There you are. Sorry, let me just reply to a message real quick. Okay, sorry about that. So where were we at? We are spawners. These spawners, they're not working. It's not properly registering which one I wanted to spawn at. What if we took out the part of the code that dealt with selecting a random spawner and instead we'll only choose an active spawner? So it shouldn't spawn if... Let's delete this one. So it should spawn a couple on there, and then once I'm out of its range, it should stop spawning them. And when I'm back in the active range, it'll continue spawning them. Okay, cool. So what we could do then is, basically this branch here, this false, was an attempt to deal with handling the player not being in the range of a spawner. Now realistically I should have that there. What I can't understand is why it wouldn't work anyway. I mean, I'm just trying to think about things in my head here now. So, hey, Jagan Dev, hello, welcome. In my, not my spawner. This, let's just tone this down a minute. It could be that I'm calling spawn the zombies too fast, and it's not having time to clear this array and set up the next one before the rest of the code is finished, basically. So let's just slow it down a bit and see what kind of shit we get going on. So you only work when I'm in your radius, and when I'm out of your radius. Are you still spawning them? It's once every 3 seconds, isn't it? So yeah, out of the radius. It seems to be following the flow of. Do we get errors? We do. And did we get any errors when we don't do this? When we don't do this default path? So I'm in the radius of the spawner. Nope, no errors. Okay, so what I'm probably going to do is leave this temporarily here. So I can always come back to this. I'll just put this node here so I know that that's supposed to go into there. I can always figure out why that's throwing errors later on. So my zombie manager spawns zombies every couple of seconds. Oh, Jagan, thank you. So we have the death of the zombie. We have our first person shooting at the zombie and killing them. We have a manager that's keeping the numbers down. Zombies per round. Okay, so what we want then is what should I research in order to figure out how to do quick time events in Unreal? Okay, quick time events. Are you talking about the things where, like, I forget the name of a game now. You jump onto a helicopter and it pops up saying press X, and you press X and your guy will punch the man. That's what you mean by quick time event, right? If I were programming a quick time event, what would I do? That's a really tricky question. I've never attempted a quick time event before. I suppose I don't know, because I feel like quick time events are they're sort of based into a way out. Okay, so now we're talking like when a zombie grabs you in Dying Light and you've got to like smash X as hard as you can to let go of them. So when a zombie grabs hold of you, you could have you have your graphic that pops up on the screen and says press the X button, and you could have a threshold. So they've got to press X 15 times, right, to get off. But it's no good pressing it and it going up. What you then need to have is that value that your player is incrementing needs to automatically be brought down at a lower rate. So I need to try and find an example of this online somewhere. Mash the button game. I'm trying to find a game where you just sort of like mash buttons for no particular purpose. Mash the arrow key. Okay. So here I found an example on Scratch. I have no idea whose this is. But if I press the up arrow key, you see my thing sort of jumps there. I can't even get a good score on this. But yeah, basically what that's doing is that's taking my up, but also toning it down at the same, sort of bringing it back down at the same time. So I can never really quite reach the top because it's coming down so fast that how do I explain this? I hope you've got me. I feel like I'm confusing myself now, but you sort of get what I'm saying. You know, you have the machine, the code base itself automatically takes that value down while you're getting up on it. But yeah, okay, cool. I'm glad you understand my demonstration. I hope that helps. I hope that puts you sort of on the right path. Okay, so back in here, where were we going? There's a paid tutorial? You can sell these tutorials? Damn, I didn't know about this. Okay, anyway, that's for another day. That's my HUD. We can get rid of that. We got death, destroying actors. What else do we need for our zombie system? We've got a spawner. We've got a spawner system that works whether you're if you're in the radius. Let me just go test that again. We got 10 zombies max. We're gonna spawn them every second. What I'm going to do is put a spawner in each corner of my map. And what that should basically do is, depending on which corner of the map I'm in, so this time it should be spawning them here. Right, okay. It's because I didn't get to enter the overlap. So if I'm in this corner, it's going to spawn on this one. The closer I get to this quadrant, it's going to use this one. If I'm in this quadrant, it should use this one. Yep, there we go. They're coming at me there now. And if I'm in the other quadrant in this corner, it should be awesome. And if I'm in the middle of the map, roughly, it should really just be picking a random one. So there's one from there, there's one from here. Let me see if I can get all of these spawners active. There's one there now, one there, a couple from there. Sweet, so that spawner system works. So what I'm basically going to do is cover my map in these spawners in their various places when we come around to doing that. So I can get rid of these for now. I know that system on those works. You could be killing it selling tutorials, lessons, or even assets and blueprints. The problem is I don't have enough money to dedicate, I don't have enough time to dedicate to Unreal Engine. It's sort of a when I can thing. I mean, I've set up a streaming schedule now, so it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 PM I'll be streaming and building various things, doing quick questions and answers, maybe making a game jam, doing a game jam one week. So I can allocate a bit of time to it, but to make the sort of quality tutorials that I would expect someone to pay for, I don't think I have the time right now, unfortunately. But I think there's a donate feature in here, so if you want to buy me a pizza or something, you can press donate wherever that's at. Okay, so we have a first-person character. We have our, let's see what we got going on. Spawner. So they spawn, they chase me. I can shoot them and they die. I've got one thing that I want to do, but I'm a bit embarrassed to do it on stream. I'm so bad at particle effects, but I really want... I've been playing Infinite Warfare, probably one of the worst Call of Duties, on my PlayStation, and when the clowns spawn, they have a lightning beam from the sky and then the clowns spawn. So I was hoping to have some similar kind of particle effect, because at the minute, my zombies don't crawl out the ground. I can't do animation either, really. They just sort of appear on top of that pad there. So I was hoping to have some kind of particle effect that made it cool for these zombies to spawn. So let me go back in spawner. In fact, I did have the spawn visuals here. Let's see, what if we do an explosion? Let me just use the template one and just test whether this will actually fire off. So where are you at? When you spawn a zombie, there's the little explosion beneath them, but it doesn't reset fast enough. Have I ever used CryEngine? No, I haven't. Crysis 3 is one of my top all-time games, but no, I've never tried using the CryEngine. Okay, cold coffee is cold. Let's see, activate. That's not what I want to do. Seconds before inactive. Let's tone that. I don't really know what this does. Like I said, I'm really not experienced enough in particles, but I'm hoping that this'll... No. It's not activating them because it's too... So why aren't you activating them? How strange. I don't want you to auto-activate first of all, that's one thing. Let's go and look at the particle thing. And I sort of want the... You see the length of time that this takes to complete its thing? I want that to slow down. So yeah, Unreal Engine it still blows my mind the depth that you can go into in this, and like this particle editor, that's pretty crazy. It's crazy. How strange. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to use that. When if I could make my own lightning strike. Actually, you know what? Okay. I trust that one of you out there somewhere has used particles before. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a beam particle. I've done this once before, a long time ago. I've done this. So, is there a way to change the background in the animation editor, or if there's an easy way to almost rotoscope? Rotoscope? You'll have to first of all explain to me what rotoscope is. And animation editor. Let me just go take a look for you, dude. In Mixamo animations, let's just jump into one of these. So this is the animation editor. When you say change the background, I assume you mean this stuff in the background here. So let's have a peek around and see what we can do. I don't know why you would want to change this background, since it's only for viewing your character while you make your animation. But also, no, I don't think you can hide it. Like, set up a background video and animate. Okay, so what you're trying to do is, you've got a video playing in the background, so it could be moving, it could be like panning across a beach, and you want to go into the animation editor here, face your character sideways and sort of walk him along the beach in time with the video. I think that's what you're trying to do. So can you play the video as a background in the animation editor? I don't think so. As Roland has just said, Blender might be more for you, but I really don't know Blender, so I can't answer anything there. The other thing that you could do is you could have your video, if you've got a multi-monitor setup, you could have your video on one screen and you could pause it and take the time that it is into the video and then use that to correspond to the current time down here. So if your character is supposed to jump at 0.81 seconds in the video, then you'll come in here and make your jump at 0.81 seconds. So that's probably how I would get around that problem. But as for making the background in Unreal video, I don't think that's possible. Someone asked where I learned all of this stuff, and that would be from YouTube tutorials, extensive Googling, and a basic understanding of programming and object-oriented programming specifically. I'm very much self-taught. This is all stuff that I just sort of played around with and broke. I'm a strong believer that the best way to learn something is to break this, like to mess it up, see where it's going wrong, tweak values, and you'll find that if you tweak something in the right direction, it starts to be a bit more like what you want, so you can adjust it a bit more and fine-tune it. So you can learn a lot of things just by playing in the engine. Okay, so back to what we were doing. We were gonna attempt to make a particle thing. So let me move this over here. So my lightning beam particle. The first thing I'm going to need to do is change it to be a beam type. I don't even know where I do that. Type data, new beam data. Beam method target. So let's change it to distance. The number of times to tile the texture along its. Use the distance property to emit a beam. So is there a distance property? Here it is. And let's make that more. So we have a beam that sort of grows there. Did I read the Unreal manual? No, I didn't. I'm not a fan of reading. I try and avoid reading things. I like to learn with my hands, so. Yeah. Is that 300? Let me make that 1,000 and see if it's much bigger. No, I can't really see what's going on with that. I'm going to drop it into the world. And it doesn't really do anything. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just change it to be some random material that I happen to have in here. Like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing with the particles, but I'm just going to try and guess and figure out as we go along here. Wait for these shaders to compile. And I see absolutely nothing. Can I view this in wireframe to see what's going on? Excuse me. So that's fine. My beam data, my beam is going along that distance. Does velocity make a difference with beams? That's an interesting concept. It seems it does. Let's lock the X and Y axis so it can only go along there. That doesn't seem to work. A few lighting tutorials for Unreal, but not watched them. Lighting's probably a bit too hard to start learning the particle system. Lighting is not lightning, if I've made you confused there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go away and learn how to do a lightning beam for this to do what I want it to do. But for now, let's leave it as the explosion. I mean, what we... Let's just see what it does with the smoke. I assume not much, because the smoke takes time to sort of get going. What is it that you're doing? Yeah, okay. Let's just take the particle system out of there for now, because I don't really know what I'm doing with it. But we'll leave it in here so we can come back to it at a later date. So we spawn the zombies, they chase us, they hit us, but they don't take any health off us. Yeah, Andre, it would be really cool if I could get them climbing out the ground. The way I suspect that you would do that is to have an animation that starts with your character below the ground. So actually, when you spawn the character, if we take a look at the character here, you see how they have the capsule component as well. If we spawn the capsule component above the ground and spawn the character mesh below the ground with collision disabled, have them play their climb up animation, and once they have completed that animation, set their collision to be the overlap. That would probably work. I wonder if we can... Let's try this. Let's try this. So, I've not done animation before either. So this is going to be... Let's go see if we can make an animation since we failed to do a particle effect. So, let's do it with Jill in her anims. And I'm going to duplicate her idle anim and name this Jill_climb. And so what we want her to do is, at the start, we're going to have her entire body. How do we select the entire thing? Is there a... No, there's no highlight function. I want to drag the whole woman down. Like, I don't just want to move her leg down through the ground. There'll be a root bone. That's what I'm looking for. Skeleton tree. Hips, I suppose that's probably the root. It is. So on this one, we're going to put her below the ground and add a key here. And then as we move along, she's going to need to put an arm up. So let me just grab her shoulder somewhere. No, not her spine, not her neck. Where are these arms at? Right shoulder. So it's going to be a very poor animation, but like I said, I've not really done this before, so we're going to put... Okay, that's not how arms go up, but yeah, I'm gonna keep trying anyway. So all right, okay, you're just gonna have to accept that this is gonna look bad. So we're gonna put her like that and sort of move her up a bit, and add a key here. So she goes like that at the moment, and then can she put her arms down now, because they are goofy? Left shoulder, let's rotate that down. And oh, I broke. Okay, because I was editing between the two keys, so what I needed to do was move the key. So we're going to put those shoulders back up and move her hips down a bit. And yeah, do you know, it's only really this is the first time I've ever done animation editing in the engine. So what we have now is she goes like that, these arms kind of appear, and then by here I sort of want her up like that with her arms pushing down on the ground. So if we grab her shoulder there, whoops, and rotate that. I'm really breaking her. I'm breaking this pose. Ooh, okay, that's not what I want to do. This is looking so bad. This looks so bad. It looks terrible, but it's my first time doing this. So get her forearm and kind of bend it down, and then get her hand and make it flat. So let's see what she does. So she goes, oh wow, okay, she doesn't. Don't you move your arms? Why is it that the keys don't lock in moving the arms? So that's quite strange. So if anyone can explain why she moves but her individual parts don't, I'd be. You have to keyframe each, but you have to keyframe every single bone. Okay, I'm not getting into animation. I don't like animation. Screw that. Make it do a spin as it comes up. Okay, we can certainly make it spin. And I'm not gonna animate each bone. That is so potato. So by here, I don't know, let's make it rotate that way. And then rotate some more and come up a bit more. Add another key. Rotate a bit more. Come up a bit more. Hips is the only one that I'm doing a keyframe with. So add a key. So if this is, oh my god, okay. So right. So when she comes up, she does this crazy backflip stuff, and then we'll just put her in the air. We'll just, yeah, that can be it. That's the zombie spawning. Because this is something else. I'm gonna need a lot of time playing with this to get used to this. So I don't really understand why the graph. Whoa! Oh wow! Okay, so these are the graphs for the different parts. So we have hips, left arm, right arm. Oh wow! Okay. Let's try play this animation when they spawn now. So when you spawn a zombie, when you spawn the zombie, where are we going to play this? So this is them being spawned, and then I want to. So remember, we need to make the. I'm gonna take that off. Ooh. I'm going to. I've selected the skeletal mesh. I'm going to disconnect this node here. And no, because I need that Z manager. So what I need to do is I've chosen the mesh. I've got the animation instance playing. I want to play an animation on this. So we need a branch first, because we only made this for Jill. So what I'm actually going to do is check if selected model equals 0. I'll explain this in a second. This is just my cheesy way of testing this. So I have these meshes which have array elements in. So the first one is Jill and the second one is Mortimer. So if it is Jill, then I want to call play an animation of Jill climb. and I need to disable all of the movement and all of the so before I hit run behavior tree, which is done. So we have this basic zombie AI controller here, and what I'm going to do is get rid of that. And once you've finished playing the animation, we need to just check how long this animation is. Oh my god, it's so long. It takes them 5 seconds to do this. So let's just play this in real time. Okay, so that is our zombie getting out the ground. Fantastic. And I'm zooming somewhere. I don't really understand what I'm doing. But whatever, yeah, let's make it 5 seconds. And then I need to set the AI controller class. So AI controller, set the AI controller class to be basic zombie controller. And let's just double check something over here. AI can auto possess AI. Let's see if that works. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but let's hope so. So, oh, okay, so it's, oh, there we go. There she is. Look at them coming out of the ground. Let's disable Mortimer so we can just have her come up. So what we're going to do is we're not going to set that value there. We're just going to make that default to 0. Cool. So hit play again, and we should just have loads of Jill spawning out of here. Look at this. What is this nonsense? Is she gonna start chasing after me? Does the rest of the functionality work, or is this? God, look at her arms. This is not okay. What kind of game is this? Okay. That was a fun tangent to explore. That was a really fun tangent to explore. Let me just try and figure out why she won't go back to doing her business. So you've done that. This node here, I suppose, is probably what's going on. Zombie fidget spinners. I'm just going to... I need a possess node. I need something to do with possess. Because what I basically have now is the AI controller class. Auto possess AI. Do not automatically possess the AI. So, if that's not how you automatically possess the AI, then where do you possess the AI? So what I did there was disable context sensitive, which is something that you don't often want to do. Context sensitive really helps you keep your thing going, your game together. Really handles attaching this controller to the specified pawn. So the pawn is going to be, I'm working inside basic zombie, so I can just make a reference to self here. Yeah, and what I need to do on this is get the kind of controller. I could cast it to a basic zombie controller class, and oh no, because that's not what I want to do. Could you have a variable that activates the AI? I could, but the approach I'm trying to take is to not have the AI be doing anything at all. Basically, this is just a model playing an animation, and then the AI kicks in. This possess thing is probably not what I want. So we decided to fix a problem that might not have actually even been a thing. So place or spawned, and let's make that. And let's see what happens when she comes out of the ground now. She's gonna move towards you as she does it. Okay, that's not really how zombies work. So I thought that might be the case. After this delay, I also know that I want to set the animation mode back to normal. So, how can I stop her behavior tree from running? You set the walk speed to 0. That's genius. That's absolutely genius. Let's take the character movement, set the walk speed. Set the walk speed, set max walk speed to be 0. And afterwards, well, the walk speed gets passed in as a value there. I'm just going to take that value and store it somewhere. Float, so walk speed. And you're going to be set here. Move that over a bit. Make room for your new guest. And then after you finish your delay, you're going to set the walk speed again, but this time to the value that we stored earlier. And you do need to return and set the animation mode to use the blueprint. So we'll select these guys, CV, put you up there. Lovely. Walk speed to 0. Roland's Surrogate, you genius. That works. That will work perfectly. That'll work perfectly. Oh, target would be character movement. Just bang that in there for now. Hit play. So we should have the Mortimer ones who will jump up normally. But yeah, my Jill over there, she's getting herself up, and for some reason she doesn't want to continue walking. So let's print a string onto the screen for debugging. Let's print a string here, and we'll print out this walk speed and just double check what it is. So spawn a Jill, give me a walk speed somewhere. 300. So her walk speed is being set back to 300. My question is, why isn't she walking towards me? Why wouldn't she walk towards me? Because inside the, I can tell you, I think I know the answer to this one. Yeah, my AI actually runs in this really simple behavior tree. So I set the focus, I move to the player, and then I attack. This move to player will never complete. So what I need it to do, because it's going to move on the... But if you set the max walk speed during runtime, they can, yeah. Their speed changes if you change the max walk speed during runtime. So, with the AI move to on success, because my thought is, I'm not sure what my thought process was. Why wouldn't it move? Because it really should. Let's hook up a fail in here. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, dude. I'm probably going to call the stream off in a little moment anyway. I need to go make some food for the evening. Let's just see what this is going to do. So she's coming up out the ground, doing her really cool climbing animation there. And I see movement. I see movement. They come to life. Awesome. I have no idea what the fuck happened, but they come to life. So they finish getting up out the ground, and then they'll chase me. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. So I think that's right. I think that's a pretty good place to leave it. We have our zombies coming up out the ground with a really accurate and awesome animation there. We have them chasing the player using a pretty basic tree. I didn't cover this in the stream, but I do have a tutorial series out on building AI behavior trees. We attempted to learn animation, and we learnt that it's not as easy as it looks. We fixed the line trace. What else have we got in here? We really made a convoluted mess of this spawn thing over here by trying to add in that animation, but it's the groundworks for something greater to come, I suppose, is what we've done there. What's coming on this? Death. So we destroy the actor. We have a way of spawning them in. We have our zombie manager, which won't spawn too many zombies on the map. This is where I think I want to focus my attention some other time. is I want to change this spawning to be... I need to make a round-based system, so I need to have a think about how I'm going to set up the rounds. But we'll come to that on another stream for another day. So, thank you very much for stopping by, guys. It's been a pleasure. And the next stream is on Friday the 20th of April over... Wait, let me see if I can do this. Friday 20th at 8 o'clock. So, thank you very much for watching. My hair is a mess. I wish one of you had told me about that earlier so I could have not been so embarrassed. But thank you very much for stopping by. It's been a pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe, join the Discord channel, come and have a chat. Thank you very much, guys.